We are working actively to decentralize their personal brand and pull it out of the business brand so that we can take the ethos of who they are and inject it into the business brand. And the only way to do that is through an experienced brand strategist or an agency who's.
So what's your process of when a brand comes to you and they're like, I just don't know, and they can't figure it out? Is it, you're not ready for us? And at what point should brands start looking? Is there a revenue number that you should be at before you're like, hey, I should hire, a branding agency?
Yeah, I would say at 20K revenue months or more is when you want to start thinking about a branding agency. Ideally 50K of revenue, and you've already outgrown your brand. And those are numbers I've seen hundreds of times over. So we actually will not let someone who's at less than 20K join our program unless they're building a second, third business XYZ. So they already have a primary model. They've done it before. They know what they're getting into. And let's say they haven't even done a similar model. I'm super straight up with them to say, hey, are you in complete understanding here that you will ROI much slower from this? And this is going to be more of your side hustle passion project. We still know what we're doing, but you will require more effort from us and our team because you have no idea what you're doing here. And they'll be like, yes, because they've already had a successful business that's at least at 7 figures and beyond. And now they're trying the next thing. So we make sure that they're going to have a good experience and we're setting the expectation. So that's the revenue marker you want to be at. Way too many brands start getting obsessed with branding when they're less than 10K months. And I just want to tell all the people out there, if you're not at 10K months on a consistent basis, stop worrying about what your branding is. That's not the problem. And it's a shiny object and it's distracting you. And I'm not going to work with you because I'm not going to allow you to get distracted from the work of what is your offer? Have you talked to your market?
Proof of concept.
Yeah, proof of concept, market, product fit. Have you actually got on calls? Like, where have you done the basics of business? Have you created demand? Are you fulfilling on that demand? And now are you iterating with that feedback? It's kind of basic. So when you're not at that level, I just will advise people that you're not ready for that yet. And don't let this like, oh, I see Alex Hormozy and his followers. Should I do that path? I'm like, there's no need to go, it's like you're learning to run and then you're like, I'm going to be Usain Bolt. And it's like, no, you're not. Like, you're not there yet. Like, can we run a mile that's under like 15 minutes? Let's start there. So that's the first thing I would address is 20K revenue and less. No. But the other mistake people make is they get to 30K revenue, they get to 50 and boom, they hit a ceiling. They don't know why. They're like, how come I can't get to 100K of revenue? Or if they're at 100K, they're like, how come I can't get to 250? If they're 250K months, they're like, why am I not at $1 million months anymore? So if you're hitting a plateau and you keep hitting a ceiling, you go up to it and you come right back down, or you're like this, it's probably branding. And you feel this, you get this inner sense that something is wrong with the brand. It's almost like an intuitive feeling. You're like, I don't feel like my branding is congruent. I feel like I look all over the map. I feel like we're not consistent. I feel like we've outgrown this, or my name doesn't fit us anymore. Or why is my business name my personal name? Am I not going to be able to sell this business later? Or is all of our website and logo and branding, do we look like we're newbies because we are having price objections on calls, but everyone knows we're the best at this? How come this is happening? So people get this like sixth sense that like, hey, your branding is off and you need to do something about it. So they usually come on the call and they'll say something like, hey, my messaging is off, or can you help me work on my positioning? And then we'll start working backward from there. But our process is like the concrete part of our process is an 8-week brand influencer framework. And it's proprietary, so I'm not going to get too many details of what our process is. We're a category of one. We're not like any other brand strategist out there. I think it's because I don't know branding. And so I just made it the way it should have been, which branding should be supporting your top line revenue or your bottom line profits. If it's not doing one or the other, I don't give a shit about it. It's fluff. So we take people through that 8-week process. It's almost scientific. It guides people through it. So you have a consistent experience regardless of the entrepreneur there. So if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, for sure. What about where things get a little bit tricky? And that's as an owner right? You have your business. There's a brand for your business, but there's also a brand for you as a person, as a personal brand. Sometimes it's hard to mesh those two together of like I'm going to speak for the business and I'm also going to have my personal brand. How do you vision the two tying in together?
Yeah, that's a great question. Oftentimes people come to us because like I described it this way, like a Venn diagram. Imagine one side is your personal brand, which is your name. So Bijal Patel, my personal brand. And then the other circle is my business brand, Launch. Most people, when they're less than 7 figures, the two circles completely overlap. They are one of the same. Bijal is Launch and Launch is Bijal. It's okay if you're less than 500K in revenue a year. It's okay. You're fine. Doesn't really matter. That's where like a lot of people are at. But after 500K and you're trying to get to $1 million of revenue and you have team, the team can't associate themselves with you and your personal brand. So the business owner or CEO becomes the bottleneck. It's like, you have to do everything. You have to have your face on everything. You have to do all the videos. You have to do the content. You have to do the sales. And the team has a really hard time even selling on your behalf because everyone has now gotten used to seeing your face and your name, and they've created trust with the personal brand rather than the business brand. So the team, you end up not attracting as many A players because they're like, oh, well, I can never be you. So I don't feel like I'm really a part of this. You say we, but it's really you. So your team can't attach to that personal brand. Business owners start to get super burnt out because if they ever step away from the business, they ever try to take a vacation, ever try to step backwards, delegate things out, boom, revenue is at a standstill, profitability goes down, and you could literally feel the business is, you're lucky if the business is at a stalemate because most of the time it's actually shrinking. And so what we do with most people who are at around 500K of revenue, or they're at $1 million, 2 million, even beyond that, we've worked with people who are at 8 figures. We are working actively to decentralize their personal brand and pull it out of the business brand so that we can take the ethos of who they are and inject it into the business brand. And the only way to do that is through an experienced brand strategist or an agency who's going to take the time, going to listen to you, has proven they're able to do that over and over again, so that they can pull out of you what you don't even know exists.
Kind of wrap up a little bit. I want to get tactical for a second. What are in your mind the top do's and don'ts for building your brand?
Okay. Top do's. Stop waiting. If you're past 20K months and you had any feeling that you're not congruent, or your revenue has just plateaued, or you're up and down, and you get that sense like, I hate my brand name. Why do we look all over the map? I have brand shame. I try to not send people any of my brand assets, and I'm hoping I can get away with that. You need to just buck the bullet and go. If you feel like your messaging is off, you're tired of it, you're attracting, maybe an avatar is okay, your clients are okay, you don't hate them, but you don't want to replace. You can't imagine having 100 of them. You can't imagine having 10 of them. You don't want thousands of them. You're off track. Or your positioning. If you are being compared to other people, or you're getting a sense that your visibility is low. Hey, I'm putting out social media content. How come no one engages? Well, you don't know who you are. You haven't fully been born yet. So if you're not able to step in on a daily basis and own, like, this is what we were meant to do. This is our vision. Our team is pumped up. Our culture is on fire. Look at the A players we've attracted. Look at the way our clients look. Our revenues we're growing. Our profits are growing, and you're excited. Those are like the things that you want to pay attention to. And those are the things that you do want to focus on in relation to your brand. The don'ts. Do not buy anyone's branding. I won't sell it to you, but don't buy anybody's branding when you're less than 20K a month. It's not worth it, and stop wasting time there. The second thing is having a bunch of Canva templates and thinking you're owning the world because you can visually see that your brand matches is also not going to make you winning at life. Okay. It's not going to work. And the third thing related to branding is a complicated topic. And so you need someone who's world-class at what they do. Otherwise, they will put you through a bunch of courses. You think you'll understand what branding is, and nothing will work afterward. So if you don't find yourself energized and on fire with what that branding is, You just got put through a framework that some coach wants to sell thousands of brand packages. And congratulations, my friend, you are their leverage. I don't think that is the right way to do branding. There is a customization to branding that must be related to you so that you can stand out from the masses. So if your person you're buying from is cheap and they're doing the same thing for thousands of people, great. You're going to end up as a cookie cutter version of every other person that's out there competing with you.